I heard someone's gonna get fired today. Oh my god, is that the movie?
Is that him?
A couple of those characters didn't know how to wear a mask correctly.
Are you still there? To delete this message, press
Today we are talking about... That's too loud.
Today we're talking about
Data scientists getting fired. Apparently it can happen. We are going to jump down the rabbit hole that is Quora. Quora is a website for people with...
sticky little questions.
I recently signed up for Quora so that I can start sharing my content, and now Quora sends me a daily email. One's about D&D, and one's about drama. It started out benign. It started out like, hey, this data scientist is going to, use this method or use this library. Should they do it? And I'm like, that's not interesting. And then Quora sends,
have you ever seen a data scientist get fired?
and then I said, that's interesting. That's the stuff I want to see. Today is kind of my initiative to edit, record, and not script this video all in one morning. So let's see if I can get this out by today. If this goes out tomorrow, you'll know. You won't know. So, have you seen a data scientist get fired? If yes, why? I am actually about to get fired after 6 months on the job. That's sad. Especially now. Updated April 8th. Ooh. That was the time not to be fired. Let me explain. First, you have to understand the following. This is the truth that no one wants to hear. You must separate the hype from reality. This person is just hyping me up. I feel like I'm ready to learn what this guy has to say. Machine learning is not completely usable to the level that is hyped up to be in every single industry out there. The thinking today is you toss a bunch of features into a model and the model will predict with 95% accuracy. Here is the truth. Oh my God, the truth. 95% accuracy. Now that's pretty... the problem with accuracy is that if you're looking into outlier detection, which is what many models are looking for, like looking for something that shouldn't be happening, as if like a credit card transaction isn't supposed to be happening, or they're looking for maybe doing weird things on your website, anomalous stuff, you are probably going to achieve 95 to 100% accuracy just by guessing normal, right? Because 95 to 100% of the population is normal. So 95% accuracy is probably correct depending on the situation. So that's why it's kind of a skewed understanding of accuracy for most of the non-machine learning public in industry. But let's see. Most companies and industries are not ready for ML. Oh my God. They're not ready. ML is so scary. They don't have the right set of features, have access to the right set of features, or even know what features drive their market. It seems like this is going to be some juicy tea. I don't think this person is going to admit a lot of faults that they did to get fired. I think they're just going to say, the company wasn't ready for me. ML is seen as a magic bullet that can solve anything, which is simply not true. If your feature space is not correlated in some way to the target variable, then no model can have any meaningful predictive power. For example, having a feature such as how many presidents over 50 have won a second-term election will be useless to predict who is going to win in 2020. The reason I say this is because those are the types of features that are most available, related, but not really driving the model. Okay, so that's interesting because it's a very specific gripe that the way that people think ML works is not exactly how you can actually feed data into a system. So usually how you feed data that isn't numeric, right? Either gender, race, ethnic background, is that you have to either one-hot encode it, which is you have a list of possibilities. So let's say gender, right? And then you have 0 or 1, right? So 0 or 1 for gender. But then if it is not binary, then you have to kind of say, okay, so it's 0. One-hot encodings for categorical data where you say, hey, I'm going to hold the mustard, right? Well, if you hold the mustard, you have to have all the other... It's so really hard to explain. I'm happy to do a video on one-hot encoding. Just put a comment right down below. Most of the problems that companies want to throw at ML are usually not easy problems. They usually want what we call pie-in-the-sky problems, like predicting the stock market. This is actually a fair gripe because I feel like a poor understanding of what machine learning can do will actually lead to a lot of mismatch between hires and then what the output that they can produce, which is kind of funny because it's as if people didn't know what dentists could do, and then you have a dentist come into your company and they say,
Okay, thank you so much. Please unclog the toilet now.
and then they'll be like, what? In my particular case, this is what is happening. Been at the job for 6 months and I have been given several ML projects, but ultimately none were solvable. Lol. This was because every single problem that they want me to solve is a pie in the sky problem. The first project, reverse engineer a famous tech company's algorithm and outsmart their algorithm and essentially game the system. This was doomed to fail from the beginning. Now mind you, this is a famous company that brings in millions plus. This is a famous company that brings in millions plus in profit using this algorithm. The point was to outsmart the algorithm with my ML efforts, so we don't have to pay this company as much money. I'm supposed to find an ML loophole that has predictive power, or better yet, this Fortune 500 company is so stupid that anyone could crack their algorithm. Yeah, right. Ultimately, this project was unsuccessful with the predictive power of a random guess. Did you randomly guess? Or did you random forest? Okay, I'm actually not sure what the question is, and you do find smaller companies asking for like an in. Now, undermining larger companies is bad. Don't try to do that if you're a smaller company because that's
treacherous.
Doing that kind of business is bad. So this company is already bad if this person allegedly is correct. I don't know what this person was trying to do. I hope he doesn't think that his understanding of ML is randomly guessing. That's not very confident of you as a data scientist. The second project, another problem like the one above, this time trying to predict the future of the company in one way or another. This was partially successful. I kind of want to go into that. Why don't you want to talk about that more? The successful one. Wouldn't that help your case of why you shouldn't be fired? The third project, predict company profit at the site level. You can already see where this is going. This company has thousands of sites across the country, akin to a retail chain. I'm supposed to come up with one model that captures the behavior to predict the profit for every site at the site level. We are actually able to get a lot of census. We are actually able to get a lot of census statistics to make sense of this. For example, you'd think that all you'd need are features like population, jobs, etc. to see how this will drive the market. Again, this is like trying to predict the stock market because common census statistics alone do not drive profit. We have every feature we could think of, but still, a single model with a set of features is unable to capture the behavior of, say, New York versus Modesto convincingly because ultimately, it's not about job growth or the people that live there, but there are other hidden socioeconomic variables that we cannot capture or we don't have access to or even know about. This model actually produced reasonable predictive power, but they want 90% accuracy, so the project is deemed a failure. So this project is kind of tricky. I actually had a similar project like this because companies that don't invest in data aggregation and data scraping will always say, hey, the census data is out there, that's free, the government is paying for our data aggregation. That's not true. The census data is bad because it, like you said, there's a lot of hidden variables, but that is kind of the data scientist's job to find those hidden variables and try to correlate that with activity. But yeah, if your entire predictive model is hinged on just census data, you're going to be missing a lot of huge pieces. 90% accuracy, that still depends on what the labels are, right? Because if he was trying to predict the profit at every site at the site level, predict the profit? 90% accuracy for predicting a scalar, like just a value? This is hard. I feel like this company wasn't ready for a data scientist. So maybe this is his gripe. is that they're trying to make me do all these awesome projects and I don't know how to do them. Now, my company is realizing that I haven't really solved any problems, yet I make a high salary. Someone is going to say,
Well, if he's not solving any problems, then why keep him around?
so you see, you could have all the ML skills in the world, but if you are given these types of unsolvable problems, which is what they want ML to solve because they think ML is a magic bullet, you are ultimately deemed useless. The truth is that either the industry is not ready for ML or the type of problems being thrown at ML is not well thought out. If you could toss a bunch of variables and predict the stock market, don't you think people would have done that by now? Yet, people have done that. People have, that's what, that's what, like entire business models like Robinhood and other like high frequency trades, they are entirely built off of trying to game the stock market just a little bit. If you go into Robinhood, there's actually a little like buy, sell, hold meter of what they think you should do with a specific stock. And like, are they even allowed to do that? Are they allowed to give you advice? Guess there's a disclaimer. But the main point is the stock market, this is less a mismatch of like unsolvable problems as a mismatch of data availability. You have almost no data. They are making you, aggregate all this data, and you didn't have either the industry experience or the data or the product landscape knowledge of what exactly you needed to gather. So it's not exactly his fault, but it is not exactly the company's fault. It is not correct to say that this is like trying to predict the stock market, because people are trying to do that, right? If they have enough data, you see? Yet that's the type that are thrown at you because those are the types of problems that bring company value. The reality is that you're probably not going to get a neat Python data set. What's a Python data set? What do you mean by Python data set? There's a lot of easy ways to piece together that certain people aren't data scientists, or at the very least, they didn't have a formal data science education. And we can get into it in a video. You comment down below if that's what you want. But you're probably not going to get a neat Python dataset type problems where the results are great. Instead, what you are going to get is the toughest problem the company has, i.e. pie in the sky, because those are the types of problems, if solved, would be of most value to the company. It's not false. If you are the first data scientist, expect this, because they don't know what you can do, and they won't ask. Now it is an awkward situation where none of his models are useful. Maybe he's too stupid, or maybe ML just can't solve any of the problems. You see, they're acknowledging that it's not his problem. Eventually will be his problem when he's fired, but it's not his problem right now. Obviously, the latter is more true. Lol. I like how he's he's keeping it casual. Well, it's either I'm too stupid, or ML's not gonna solve the problem. Lol. So what I have proven is ML can't solve all these problems convincingly instead of actually solving the company's problems. So before I get fired, I need to find a job with a company and industry that is actually using ML in the right direction to solve meaningful and well thought out problems. This is something everybody should do so that your resume is not full of failed projects. Why would you put failed projects into your resume? That's kind of interesting. A project never truly fails. If you're doing a statistical project, your project might just not be significant, or they didn't have enough power, or maybe not enough accuracy. But at the same time, no project is a failure, especially since you are tackling these humongous projects in a smaller company. I think that there is a lot of value in building out infrastructure for a company that doesn't have any data pipelines, that doesn't have any previously statistically significant results. But to be fair, they didn't give you a lot of data. Who would want to hire a data scientist with a bunch of failed projects? Depends on how you failed. Fail with style. My final point, be careful where you take a job. Make sure you research the company and make sure the industry is ready for ML. Fair enough. He makes good points, and he still doesn't seem to take any of the blame. But who wants to take blame on the internet? But it's pretty level-minded. It seems like he maybe didn't understand exactly what the company was pitching him for, and that's fair. If you're going to be the first data scientist in a company, just expect that they won't know what you can do. So you're either going to be
A huge disappointment.
or a huge happy surprise. Intermediate update. I just passed the 6-month mark, and I still have not been fired. Oh! The funny story is, I believe I was almost fired one Friday. Everybody started giving me that look as if somebody just shot their dog. The IT guy gave me this look like he knew something about me, but he couldn't tell me. I suspect he was told to terminate my access by the end of the day. That feeling must not be good. Like if you go walk around and people are like, "Oh my God, is that's gonna get fired?" Oh my God, is that the him that came in?
Is that him?
A couple of those characters didn't know how to wear a mask correctly. And at about 3 p.m. that day, there was a sudden turn of events, and a huge project came my way by accident that the CEO mandated. Obviously, there was nobody else that could do it but me, because I was the resident ML guy. Again, he leaves out some details. How big is this company? Now, after 6 months, I believe I've shown what type of projects can't be done and what can. So some of the projects coming my way have been more sensible. Recently, I put a model into production by the CEO mandate. As long as the model has to be retrained and maintained, I may have job security. Lol. Hopefully this trend can continue. Thanks. He thanked us. Thank you. Final update. I have officially been let go. Now with the coronavirus, nobody's hiring. Help! What a roller coaster. I want to help this person. Well, if you know who this person is, or if this person is you, get in touch. Write a comment down below about whether or not you like this format. It is new, but I think it's funny and spicy. And I think if you enjoyed this content, leave a like, leave a comment. Have an awesome day. Subscribe. Peace.
To hear more options, press 0. What are you talking about?